Abigail Spanberger makes history as the first female governor of Virginia. For the Republican Party, it was a disappointing night, losing all three races for governor, lieutenant governor, and attorney general. Families in the Richmond area are looking for trick-or-treating alternatives now. Trunk-or-treating is rising in popularity. Hello, and welcome to VCU InSight Election Special. I'm Alexis Washington. Abigail Spanberger is now cementing her place in history as the first female governor of Virginia, and it was a big night for the entire Democratic ticket. Gonzala Hashmi won lieutenant governor, and Jay Jones grabbed the win in the attorney general race. Democrats are continuing to celebrating a blue wave in Virginia. I was there the moment history was made. The result of this election came early in the night with Abigail Spanberger defeating opponent Winsome Earl Sears 57 to 42%. Spanberger's supporters filled the Richmond Convention Center, taking the moment all in.
It's a packed crowd right behind me, but a happy one as they witness history. Spanberger shares this message to her supporters.
Virginia voters made our choice tonight, and that choice was loud and clear. We are going to work to lower costs of renting, buying, or staying in your home. We are going to cut red tape and build homes families can actually afford.
The Democratic Party did a clean sweep. Gonzala Hashmi was elected as the first female Muslim lieutenant governor, and Jay Jones as attorney general, despite the Texas scandal that many wondered would impact that race. The swearing-in ceremony would take place in January. Republican Winsome Earl Sears conceded the race early in the evening and wished Governor-elect Spanberger success.
I have to tell you, I think I learn more in a loss than I ever do in a victory. If she is successful, Virginia will be successful. That's what I wish for her. And I asked her to support policies that will unite us, that will not divide us, that will strengthen our families and keep us safe. And that if I can ever be of help doing that, I'm here.
Earl Sears told the crowd as an immigrant, she is grateful to have the opportunity and to have served as Virginia's lieutenant governor and to have run for the position for governor. According to the Virginia Public Access Project, Earl Sears received more votes during her race for lieutenant governor than her race about 175,000 votes. In the race for lieutenant governor, Republican candidate John Reed says he will continue to help Virginians across the Commonwealth. VCU InSight reporter Olivia Clark was at the GOP party with that side of the election.
The room was packed and the venue was filled with energy. Unfortunately, by the end of the night, many people left disappointed. Supporters gathered inside the venue eating buffet food, enjoying conversations, and patiently waiting for Lieutenant Governor results to come through. Republican John Reed told supporters it's not over yet, while waiting for the results to come in. Reed made an effort to talk to everyone and thank them for their ongoing support throughout the past 9 months of campaigning. If Reed won, he would have been the first openly gay Republican in a statewide office in the nation. However, an hour later, Democrat Gonzala Hashmi was declared the winner, making her the first Muslim to be elected lieutenant governor. Reed told the crowd even though he didn't win, the fight is not over.
But we did not lose this fight. The real Virginia agenda was never about one campaign or one candidate. It's about a movement for families, for freedom, and for the future of the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Reed also wishes for his opponents to succeed, recognizing that when one leader prospers in serving the people, the entire Commonwealth will benefit as well.
With the results in, I want those who prevail tonight to succeed, because when Virginia succeeds, we all do. It is my hope that they will pledge, as I did, to work with anyone who wants to see our Commonwealth succeed.
During his speech, Reed said even though he lost, he won't won't be giving up on supporting Virginia and the people in it. Reporting for VCU InSight and the newsroom at VCU, I'm Olivia Clark.
There is a shift in the Virginia House of Delegates. Democrats now have the majority with 64 seats going into a crucial 2026 legislative session. All 100 delegate seats were on the ballot. The party expanded its majority in the House of Delegates, flipping key districts across Northern Virginia, Richmond, and the Hampton Roads areas. Going into the election, Democrats held a 51-49 slim lead, but now the balance of power in Virginia has shifted firmly to the left. Virginia Democrats left Election Day with a blue trifecta. The governor, House of Delegates, and General Assembly are now controlled by the party. They briefly held a trifecta from 2019 through 2021. VCU InSight reporter Safira Mohammed has more on what you need to know. Safira?
Democrats filled the 13 seats in the House of Delegates and even won in strong Republican districts. After facing a record number of vetoes over the last 4 years by Governor Glenn Youngkin, the party will most likely be quick to pass legislation on key issues. VCU political science professor Alex Kina predicts their priorities based on voter sentiments and previously introduced bills.
I think they're interested in economic issues that seem to resonate with voters, particularly because of the effects of some of the funding freezes and the government shutdown.
There are 4 constitutional amendments that will need to pass the Assembly before they head to voters. And this could be the year Virginia finally sees a retail cannabis market after the legislation was vetoed twice by the governor. Reporting for VCU InSight and the newsroom at VCU, I'm Safira Mohammed. Back to you, Alexis.
The last political ad aired at 4:47 p.m. on Election Day. This year, ad spending for the Attorney General race tripled. The spending totaled $24.4 million compared to just $7.9 million in 2021. Republican Attorney General Jason Myers spent over $17 million on ads. His spending peaked at $6.1 million over the 2 weeks following the Democratic candidate Jay Jones' text scandal. That is more than Myers spent in 2021 ad. Spending for the governor's race reached over $45 million, which is $15 million less than in 2021. Voters made sure their voices were heard at the polls, and a variety of issues motivated them to cast their ballot. VCU InSight reporter Trey Brown was in Prince William County to talk to the voters there.
Northern Virginia is home to the world's largest cluster of data centers. On Election Day, I spoke to voters that had mixed feelings on the number of data centers planned for the county. At Gainesville Middle School, close to 400 voters cast their ballot before noon. On their minds, as the demand for cloud and AI grows, so does the debate over where these facilities belong. Many residents are complaining about noise and air pollutions, loss of greenery, and fresh water usage.
I think data centers negatively affect anywhere they're being put. I think the obvious things, they're loud, they're ugly, they're taking up space. I would say they may be bringing in jobs, sure, but they are also just affecting like everyone.
As much as residents want this issue to be sorted out, some voters felt like they didn't hear either candidate speak about the data centers as much as they would have liked.
I'm going to be really honest, I don't think any of them really focused on it, which is kind of disappointing, but...
With many new data centers still being built and more planned for the future, this is something to pay attention to. Reporting from Prince William County for VCU InSight and the newsroom at VCU, I'm Trey Brown.
Goochland had the highest voter turnout of any county in the state. According to the Public Access Project, 70% of its registered voters showed up to cast their ballot. VCU InSight reporter Blake Jokins was in Goochland with more.
Though it doesn't look like it now, St. Matthew's Lutheran Church Voting Center has been packed with people of all ages. Young families as well as the older population have all come to this church today in order to practice their right to vote. So far, it's about 10 o'clock, and though it's not as busy as it was earlier, there's still constantly people moving in, coming to vote today.
Many of the voters told me they feel like the federal government, and specifically Trump, is not speaking for the people.
Elizabeth Wise believes that state-level change will make its way up the government chain.
Because I don't think that the federal is interested in the people. So if the local and the state, if we can get enough voices that are actually listening to the voices of, people who want to treat people well, and not take basic human rights away.
Bob McKegg, a longtime voter, believes every level of government needs to shift.
The Republicans are just following what Trump is doing, and I think it needs to change. They don't vote for the constituents, for the people that are living in their community.
Many voters identifying as Republican didn't want to speak on camera, but Republican canvasser Jonathan Lyle had this to say.
The government that leaves more money in people's pockets usually is the most efficient. There is a truism: if you give government money, it will spend it. It has been disappointing to me to see how Governor Youngkin has tried to cut tax rates and to let people keep more of their money.
It's been Blake Jokins for VCU InSight. Now back to you.
We interviewed voters from 4 counties and 2 cities about what drove them to the polls. Our student reporter found out most voiced concerns about the economy and health care. Retiree Lawrence Goodhall, who was voting in Richmond, says actions of the Trump administration drove his vote. He usually votes as an independent, but
I'm so discouraged and disgusted by the Trump agenda that so I had to vote at the top of the ticket Democratic.
Voters also told us they were worried about the government shutdown and protecting trans rights. With the first woman serving as governor of Virginia, we asked a VCU political science professor about what this means for the Commonwealth. VCU InSight reporter Olivia Clark is in the studio with more.
Hello, I'm joined by Dr. Holly Mann, a VCU political science professor specializing in women and gender in politics, democratic theory, and feminist political thought. Thank you for joining us today, Dr. Mann.
Thank you for having me.
First question, how does an increase in female leadership reflect societal changes?
Yeah, I think there are probably 2 reasons why we're seeing an increase. Women are running more. Since 2016 and Clinton's defeat and Trump's first victory, we saw a huge kind of influx of women at the state and local and federal national level. I think also women are responding to the current national, political, and state environments. As we've seen Roe rolled back, other reproductive freedoms threatened and restricted across the country, education issues and concerns, gun violence on the rise. These are issues that tend to activate women in politics.
Does female leadership wind up looking different than male leadership?
That's such a great question. What we see when we control for things like party and ideology is that women tend to lead and govern differently, but they often focus on similar sorts of issues. There are some exceptions to that, but women do tend to govern in a more relational, dialogical, bipartisan manner. They tend to focus on coalition building and try to make progress that way.
There are typically fewer Republican women in the General Assembly than Democrats. Can you talk about why this might be?
A couple of reasons why that's the case. I think the first is that Democratic women in primaries win more than Republican women candidates in primaries. In other words, Republican voters seem less inclined to support women candidates at the primary level.
Are there typically policy approaches that women usually take compared to men specifically?
They tend to focus on the same issues, but women also are more inclined to give their attention to and develop policy around things like education, gun violence, reproductive rights, mental health. And so those are kind of care economy issues that women will additionally focus on more than men, and that's true across both parties.
What took Virginians so long to elect a female governor?
women do in the state of Virginia have historically had a very strong presence in politics. And so it's curious in a way that we have not yet elected a female governor, because women are very present relative to a lot of other states in our state government. I think that there are just simply more men in the pipeline for the governorship, right? Because women have historically been kept out of those power centers. But as they've gained more and more access, we see that women are approaching and now have arrived at that place.
Has Spanberger's rise to power followed a traditional path for female leadership?
You know, I think increasingly there isn't a traditional path for women to leadership in government. It was once the case that women followed they were on boards of education, right? And they were kind of doing that more care economy work, and then they kind of found their way to politics that way. But as women have gained access to traditionally male spaces, both professionally and in government, and in Spanberger's case, right, in the CIA, we see lots of women serving in the CIA, the NSA, the FBI. So in some ways it is unique because it is a first, but in other ways it's not surprising.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We're very happy to have you. Alexis, back to you.
Virginia will see an uptick in female representation. VCU Capitol News Service reporter Carson Neely joins us now with more on how women will represent the state.
Virginia is the 33rd state to elect a woman as governor, and would have been whether a Democrat or Republican won. Governor-elect Abigail Spanberger is also the first former CIA agent to be governor in the country. In Virginia, this is the first time a woman, Ghazala Hashmi, has succeeded another woman lieutenant governor, Winsome Earl Sears. Hashmi is also the first Muslim woman elected to the U.S. to serve in a statewide seat. Women also gained more representation in the Virginia House of Delegates. 41 women were elected this year, a new record high. Democrats overwhelmingly lead with female representation in the General Assembly. Reporting for VCU InSight in the newsroom at VCU, I'm Carson Neely. Back to you, Alexis.
Thank you, Carson. Well, Halloween might be over, but the community spirit in Chesterfield County is still going strong. VCU InSight reporter Dakota Griffin takes us to Spooktacular, a trick-or-treating event that is gaining popularity year after year.
We got tattoos and candy. Each year, more families trade door-to-door trick-or-treating for organized events like Spooktacular. Typically, at these events, people park their cars, decorate their trunks, and kids can walk from car to car collecting candy. Spooktacular started just like that, a simple trunk-or-treat that has since evolved. Parents like Jeannie Ridwell say events like Spooktacular offer a sense of comfort and ease that traditional trick-or-treating doesn't.
Well, it's safe, I guess, it's secure, and we were hoping she'd see some of her classmates.
She isn't the only parent who feels that way. Holly Schwantes agrees, saying she will not be taking her 3 boys traditional trick-or-treating this year.
We have been recently. We prefer the trunk-or-treat just because it's easy, like one-stop shop.
According to the website Parents, which offers family and lifestyle guidance, trunk-or-treat events are a more favorable alternative to door-to-door trick-or-treating.
I'm here in Chesterfield County at Spooktacular. This is an annual Halloween event that started as a simple trunk-or-treat, but as you can see, it has grown to be so much more. There are games, activities for the kids, and of course, lots of candy.
The number of activities and booths stretched across almost 2 soccer fields. Chesterfield County Parks and Recreation saw this growth coming and moved the event from the county fairgrounds to the River City Sportsplex. Community resources were also on site.
This year we wanted something interactive with families, so we had the glow theme. We have the tattoos, the glow sticks.
As families move away from traditional trick-or-treating, events like Spooktacular represent a new kind of Halloween tradition. Reporting in Chesterfield County for VCU InSight in the VCU newsroom, I'm Dakota Griffin.
Staying on Halloween festivities, hundreds of trick-or-treaters filled Hanover Avenue to celebrate one of Richmond's oldest traditions. For homeowners on Hanover, the tradition begins months before planning and preparation. VCU InSight reporter Smalls has more.
For over 4 decades, Hanover Avenue has been the place to be on Halloween night. Eager children, and their equally excited parents, pack the streets with their costumes and buckets, ready to collect candy. Every house has a theme. This year, homeowner Trisha Atherley and her family are werewolves. She has been preparing all year for this night.
It would be November 1st of last year.
Atherley says she makes prosthetics for a living.
We just love it. We love Halloween. We love the energy of the area. We love the kids. It's just, we look forward to it every year.
If you live on Hanover Avenue, participation in this tradition is not optional. The Ricard family has lived here for over a decade. They use movies to pick their theme.
We got a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 7-year-old, so we always pick something we've watched as a movie. We watched Jurassic Park this year, and so we decided to go with Jurassic Park. And we have some escaping dinosaurs at the moment.
Each house may have a different theme, but they all have to prepare to hand out thousands of pieces of candy.
One year we, as a block, bought from a candy distributor. We bought, I think, 25,000 pieces.
For residents, Halloween on Hanover may mean candy and chaos, but it's worth it for the community and for the fun.
Shanika Jones has attended Halloween on Hanover every year since she was a little girl. Now, she has the privilege of bringing her own kids to this trick-or-treat tradition.
The decorations, the community, the energy, I love it. I love coming out here. It's me and my sister's favorite holiday.
Mark your calendars for next Halloween so you don't miss the new themes and decorations. Reporting from Hanover Avenue, I'm Naomi Smalls.
This weekend is going to be a mixed bag when it comes to weather. Friday will be sunny but cold with a low of 35 and a high of 59. Saturday will be slightly warmer with clouds with a low of 38 and a high of 62. This is VCU InSight's last show for the semester. In February, we will be welcoming a whole new team. Thank you for watching us this fall and for liking and subscribing. For VCU InSight and the newsroom at VCU, I'm Alexis Washington.